guess Israel is still feasting. We've been feasting all week.
Yes, sir.
But it's by commandment. Lord said feast 7 days and have a solemn assembly on the 8th day. So that's what we've done. We've feasted 7 days, and then we're going to have a solemn assembly on the 8th day, which we will have service. I just want to say this. I want to make sure I don't forget it. We will have a service for the 8th day of the Feast of Tabernacles beginning at noon tomorrow right here. But now we have feasted 7 days as the Lord has said, and the 8th day will begin at sundown this evening. Today, I am going to keep it very simple. I'm going to deal with a lesson I titled Clearing Up Fallacies About Going to Heaven. Fallacy just means a false idea, a mistaken belief. And, for you all that's been around a while, you understand what the Bible teaches. The Bible teaches that the Lord is going to return to this earth and establish his kingdom on this earth. But mostly every church you go to, or mostly every minister you listen to, he will tell you that at some point man is going to heaven. And he's going to go to heaven when he dies, or if he's been a righteous man and been a good Christian, then the Lord is going to come and get him one day at his second coming and take him to heaven. But just about everybody has got you going to heaven. What we are going to do in this lesson is we're going to show you what the Bible teaches. Because what everybody needs to understand, you have to go with what the Bible teaches. Regardless of what you have been taught, regardless of what your emotions tell you, you have to go with what the Bible says. Because the Bible is right. As the book said, let God be true and every man a lie.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
So whatever the Lord said, that's how it's going to be. And so you're going to have to get ready. You don't just have to get with his program. Whether you like his program or not, you're going to have to get with it. Because you don't have one other option. Trust me, you don't want to deal with that option. So now what we do here all the time, we just go into the Bible. We teach you what the Bible said. Because the Lord inspired the Apostle Paul to write that all Scripture is given by the inspiration of God. And it is good for doctrine, and it's good for instruction in righteousness. So if you want to get it right, then you have to go with what the Scripture says. And this is one thing, you're going to have to get it right. Yeah, you may as well understand that you are going to have to get this right. If you don't get anything else right in your life, you're going to have to get this right. Because God only promised salvation through his word, through the teaching and obedience to his word. And however God has laid it out, that is how it's going to be. Now, we're going to begin this lesson in Genesis chapter 1. And we'll begin reading at verse 1, Genesis 1 and 1. We read the Bible in here. That is what we do. When you come here, expect to read the Bible. That's why we ask people to bring a Bible. And if they don't have one, we'll let you use one while you're here. But we read the Bible here. Because that is how it is supposed to be done. So we're going to begin reading at Genesis chapter 1. And we'll begin reading at verse 1. Because when you say heaven, then actually the Bible speaks of three. It really does. The Bible talks about the third heaven. And it calls the third heaven high above all the heavens. So there is no heaven after the third heaven. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Because I know you may have heard the term seventh heaven. Because I've heard that pretty much all my life. There is no fourth, fifth, sixth, or seventh. It is a 1, 2, and a 3. That is it. Because the book said the third heaven is high above all of heaven, meaning there's nothing above that. So now, when you talk about going to heaven, I always like to ask the question, which one? Amen. There's a heaven where God's throne is. There's a heaven where the sun and the moon and all of that is. And then there's a heaven that the Lord includes in the earth's atmosphere. So now, when you talk about going to heaven, which one are you going to? Let's start out in Genesis chapter 1. And we'll begin reading at verse 1. 1 and 1. Go ahead and read.
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
Now it said, in the beginning, God created the heaven. We don't know when that was. You understand? We know man's existence on this earth. We can calculate it somewhere around 6,000 years. But as far as when God created the heaven and the earth, we don't know when that was. It said in the beginning. You know, scientists, they argue about it all the time. Earth 10 million years old, Earth a billion years old, Earth 20 million years old, maybe. I don't know. But one thing that we can pretty closely calculate, and that is the existence of man on this earth. And that is around 6,000 years. Now, in the beginning, God created the heaven and earth. Go ahead and read.
And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters.
Go ahead.
And God said, let there be light. And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day.
Go ahead and read.
And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters.
And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And what this is really telling you, this firmament is called heaven, as the book is going to tell you. And it's letting you know there's waters above the heaven, and we see the waters beneath the heaven. That's when you look at all the oceans and the seas and all of that. But people don't understand there's the waters even above the heavens as well. Because the Lord said, let this firmament that he calls heaven here divide the waters